Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's that day of the week again, and you know what that means. You know what it means. I know what it means. My co-commentator knows what it means, and as you can hear in the background, all the fans in the crowd know what it means too. It's time for Age of Empires 3. I'm your host, Buffalo Mike, and I'm joined by
Og here, the Holy here. You know, these two teams have a storied rivalry between these, and you can just hear it in the crowd. The crowd, every time Mayor Mongo comes into town, the Corbin Harbor fans just go crazy. They pack the stadium to the brim. I'm pretty sure it's standing room only here, Mike. It's going to shape up to be a very good game, and we're excited to see what comes in store for us here.
That's right, Mr. Holy. Now, speaking of these two teams, let's talk about them. We have Corbin Harbor on one side, also more frequently known as Buffalo Joe, no relation, versus Mayor Mongyu on the enemy team playing China. Buffalo Joe has a noted rivalry against China. He does not like fighting them, so we'll be very curious to see how this plays out.
And, you know, likewise, China doesn't like fighting Buffalo Joe either. These two teams have hated each other for a long time. If you just go back and look at the history of these two teams, they've met in Super Bowls, they've met in the MLB Finals, you know, they've even met in the Stanley Cup. These two teams have duked it over across multiple different sports and games over their entire existence. So this is just another matchup for the century right here.
Now, China's had a very strong season this year so far. Earlier, they traded some They traded some old players like the castle cards and traded them for new players like the castle plus flamethrower cards. So they've had a really strong season. A lot of new players looking to get into the game. By contrast, USA hasn't made any new players in a very long time, and that might go to show.
You know, and the big free agent pickup of the T-Export card, I think, is huge for China because that just revolutionized the way that China plays. And for the most part, it's been nothing but good from China. We'll see exactly how this veteran roster of USA responds to such an interesting and dynamic pickup from the Chinese.
That's right. Let's talk about coaches. For Corbin Harbor's team, he does have his classic coach, Raspberry von Rubenstreifer.
I could not say anything negative about Raspberry von Rubenstreifer.
He is a pro.
Just a class
He is a legend. Absolute class act.
Like we've said, multiple Stanley Cup victories, multiple NBA Finals victories, and he's even lifted the Super Bowl, the Lombardi Trophy, twice in the last 7 years. That is quite impressive for a coach.
And as you can see, he's also recently made it his job to go to the moon based off his astronaut outfit that he has earned as a reward.
He cannot do.
There is absolutely nothing he cannot do. Except maybe face China. We will see to that today. Over on the other, the China player is using Zhui Yuan. I'm sure I am mispronouncing that. I am sorry, I am not Chinese. This guy is also rather famous for being a historical figure, but we don't really know too much about him other than that he has time traveled to current China.
And you know, one important thing to note is that his assistant coaches are of A+ tier.
He does have assistant coaches.
You don't really see very many teams that have assistant coaches. And
USA absolutely does not have
assistant coaches is very impressive too. They always bring top tier talent on their assistant coaches from anywhere, from the Monitor Lizards to the Lions of the Sahara. Assistant coaches come in all shapes and sizes for the Chinese team.
Now, let's take a look at what these coaches have brought to the table by looking at the different players that each team has in reserve. USA has already sent their French immigrants reserve player. They are already in the field. This is a very valuable shipment as it boosts hit points by 35%, movement speed. It's just an all-around buff, as well as, of course, delivering those classic French immigrants. Other cards that we have also include just all the standard USA stuff. Interestingly, you don't see rolling artillery in this deck. generally a staple of the USA play once they hit the Fortress Age. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see how all of USA's reserve players, as they are, of course, one of the civs that gets more reserve players the further the game goes.
And that is an interesting play by von Rubenstreifer to not bring rolling artillery in, because that seems to be a staple part of his playbook across all formats. But I think facing this very intense Chinese team who is likely to play for some early aggression, I think he's trying to switch things up a little bit and keep the Chinese team on their toes.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe that removing that card allowed him to put in Pulaski's Legion or the USA Army. We don't really know what their thought process is when they're making these decks.
That's what makes this game so entertaining to watch for both the fans and the commentators alike, is the games are so different and these teams are so dynamic. Every game is different. Every game is a challenge, and we are just so excited to be here on this special day watching these two teams fight it out.
Absolutely. Looking over at the China players, reserve players, he has in his deck Exotic Hardwoods as well as Northern Refugees. I'm not sure which of these he sent, if possibly both, possibly neither, but in either case, he is aging up with the Summer Palace. This is a very classic China move. Interestingly, we don't see T-Export in this deck, which is generally a very common card that you see from China nowadays.
And we talked about T-Export earlier in the broadcast, how much of an impact that player has made to the Chinese team. Unfortunately, I believe we're getting news from our sideline reporter that T-Export has been placed on the IL due to a calf strain, so we will not be seeing T-Export at all this game, unfortunately. You can see, however, that the Chinese Refugees card, or the Northern Refugees card, has been sent. He's at 22 villagers going into Age 2, which is an awfully high number. We'll see how it plays out for them.
Meanwhile, Buffalo Joe over on the other team has just hit Age 2. He aged with Massachusetts. He has the Boston. This enables him to get the Boston Tea Party card, which will transfer all of his food into coin, and it looks like he's already sent that. Wow, this game is just moving fast. These players know what they're doing. He has almost 2,000 coin and is now queuing sharpshooters. Oh, wow, he sent the long rifles card, too, to get access to early sharpshooters. This is a very interesting play that we don't often see from USA, is the Age 2 sharpshooter build order.
Absolutely not. And it's just miraculous. The mind of Raspberry Ron Rubenstreifer rivals that of Bill Belichick. You never see it's the likes of this is something. It's just so, it's like watching Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal in the exact same era. Raspberry Ron von Rubenstreifer fits right in with Bill Belichick and all the other greats in coaching history.
Absolutely. As we can see, the China player has placed a very aggressive village. Now, if we take...
Is that a
put
second
the Fog
village?
of War on. No, he's making a War Academy. He's making a War Academy. Things are getting spicy. It is getting very spicy. We can tell he's making a very aggressive forward base, and I am looking forward to see what this is happening. Just look at how much line of sight. You can see on the map down here. Look how much line of sight is provided by the village. That is an insane amount of line of sight. Oh, we got combat going on over here. It's the sharpshooters. It's the sharpshooters. They're engaging.
Rubenstreifer has charged the field. I don't believe it. He's charged the field. He's attacking the opposing coach. This is unheard of. This is absolutely incredible. This is, oh my goodness, how is this not any violation of the rules of the sport? How are the refs letting this happen?
I don't think the refs really care too much either way. Their Age of Empires always has so many war crimes happen on it at all times, and the referees always look the other way. It is one of the dirtiest sports in the world.
I just can't believe this is blatant abuse of the rules.
We also see the sharpshooters have found the forward base. He's making a second War Academy. Will it go up now that it's been spotted? Oh, we see the sharpshooters sniping out these pikemen. Oh, this is intense. This is intense. Oh, and we have regulars coming up from the bottom and Minutemen. Oh, it's a surround. It's a surround.
I just don't believe it. This is such an incredible play. That just speaks to the quality that the United States players has fielded, or the United States team has fielded in its players. Those Minutemen, so good. They wipe the floor with everything. The siege is going down. This is an absolute cleanup. This might be good game already.
Yes.
We're only 7 minutes and 48 seconds into the game. I don't know how China will reply to this.
We don't know, except obviously that they're going to try their best to make some more military. As you can see, both war academies are training the Ming army. An interesting choice. This is an anti-cavalry force of Keshiks and pikemen. I'm not entirely sure what he is expecting here, but USA is generally not known for their H2 cavalry, so this is a questionable decision at best. We can see he's got a Chukunu ship coming in as well.
The early pressure. The thwarting of the early pressure by Team USA really just put Team China on the back foot, and they just don't know how to respond. That is definitely something that at halftime, the coach for Team China is going to have to address in his players. Exactly why they decided to come out with anti-cavalry units is beyond me, but that is definitely either a coaching error or a personnel decision or just all around just bad play by the Chinese players, which is kind of unusual given that this matchup has such high stakes. You know, the winner of this match, Buffalo Mike, goes to the round of 16 in the Grand Tournament of Losers. So I don't understand how we're seeing such terrible play from this Chinese team right now. The Grand Tournament of Losers is huge. That is vastly important to both of these teams to win that.
Mr. Holy, I think that might have been a knee-jerk reaction due to the absolute surprise of getting outmasked in military in the second age by USA. USA is generally not regarded highly as an H2 civilization. This is one of Raspberry von Rubenstreifer's weirder strategies that allows him to mass military very quickly in the second age, and that is what we're bringing to the table today, and it's not something that most players would expect coming from USA, and maybe that is the cause of this confusion and mix-up from the players.
You know, that is very likely.
It also might have to do with the fact that their coach is dead. It might also have to do with the fact their coach is dead.
Like I said, Raspberry von Rubenstreifer, not really known to be as dirty as to kill the opposing coach, but, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and I think the amount of siege that the USA players have brought to the table is really shocking to the Chinese team. So we'll see exactly how the Chinese team responds here. Let's take a look on board with them. Let's see what kind of reserves they have, what kind of cards that they've sent, any substitutions that they've made so far.
You can see that they've sent the Mandarin Duck Squad, as well as 8 Chukanus and Spice Tray. They're going for a very economic start, and that Mandarin Duck Squad is, of course, going to be something that is very impactful when it arrives. 9 Chukanu and 1 Flamethrower is nothing to scoff at. There it is, the Flamethrower. But he does need to be careful because USA can make lots of Minutemen, and Minutemen do have multipliers against siege units with which the Flamethrower has that tag.
You know, despite not having a coach, due to him being dead at the moment, this is an incredible push. A very large mass from the China player. The pikes are a little bit misplaced. The Keshiks are again a little bit misplaced, but these Chukanus and these Flamethrowers have the ability to push back the United States force, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. That force was just too much for the United States players to handle, and they're going to have to back up and regroup and rethink about how they're exactly going to make this push. As we see, is that even more Flamethrowers coming out from the Chinese team? No, that is not. That is just cavalry. Standard army type stuff.
Yes, that is just standard army being produced from the Summer Palace.
That camera angle that we just had, if the producers will go back to that camera angle of this village being sieged down, that's going to be huge for the USA player to get, as it'll drop quite significantly the amount of population that the Chinese team can field at one point. This
as well as the line of sight. Look at this massive bubble of line of sight that China is losing access to.
It just absolutely disappeared. Huge engagement here.
China is forcing the fight here. This is a smart play, as China wants to trade with their opponent and take down as many things as possible because their units are very easy to replace. We see the regulars backing up and the Minutemen targeting down the flamethrower. That is very smart micro on Buffalo Joe's accounts. This is a very close. This was a very bad trade for China when it should have been a very good trade. Unfortunately, it was just due to bad micro that he lost his flamethrower as early as he did.
Look, like we've mentioned, this is a battle of the wits. Despite the coach being dead, he has done a very good job over the last week preparing his team for this matchup. They don't need their coach to be alive to bring back the training and all the hard work that they've put together over the course of the last week for this matchup. So I fully expect the Chinese team to perform well even with their coach. You know, that was just one bad engagement, but there's plenty of time left in this game to recuperate, get some more flamethrowers, and move on. If you don't mind, producers, can you hop over to the United States team and we can see exactly what their reserves look like? Oh my goodness.
We can see the USA player has sent both Hamiltonian Economics and Springfield Armory, and he is just getting all of the upgrades. He is in upgrade central right now. By now he's gotten most of the market upgrades. He's shipped his greatcoats for the extra explorer hit points. Yeah, those are very tanky settlers. 255 HP. It's just not something you see every day. And he is getting one by one all of the upgrades available to him. Currently getting counter infantry rifling, but if I'm not mistaken, yet they already have the drumming feats for extra movement speed. These are going to be some very beefy regulars, and he's also in the middle of aging to age 3. So we might be seeing the veterancy upgrades very, very soon. He can call Minutemen, but he is opting not to. I'm not sure why. He definitely should be. And the
Minutemen are an incredible
there it is. There it is. Just as I say it. Just as I say it.
Raspberry von Rubenstreifer, again, a absolute genius when it comes to the playbook. This Springfield Armory play is just over the course of the rest of this game is going to pay off in the long run as his units just get better and better with upgrades and the Springfield Armory. And this mass, even though it is not extremely large right now, is going to be very formidable in the very near future.
Absolutely. Now we do start to see and notice that this map does have a sparsity of hunts. Looks like Mr. Buffalo Joe hasn't quite seen this over here, but he has just seen these villagers pop into his line of view as the China player is desperate for food.
I hate to interrupt you, Buffalo Mike, but there is an engagement going on in the north. We need to go take a look at this. What's going on here?
Oh, we see villagers chasing off.
Villager on villager
it's
combat.
Villager on villager combat. Looks like the China player made this village, and that possibly gave him the line of sight to see all the hunts that were going on here, and had his villagers engage while his army tries to move up and take down those villagers as they were going on. But Buffalo Joe recognized that he needed to get his vills out of there, and he got them out fast.
Spotting those villagers again. Very clutch move from the Chinese player. He's going to try and get this herd all the way into his base and try and find these villagers. Unfortunately, like you said, those villagers from the United States team, just too fast, just too tanky. None going down as the army from USA comes in to siege this village and keep the Chinese player pop-capped once more. Chinese player evacuating villagers as he should. The fight over this hunt could be the fight that determines whether or not the winner of this game, Buffalo Mike.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we do have to take a commercial break right now, but hopefully we'll get back before this fight finishes. So we'll see you guys after the break.
Yeah, I'm Germany. Does it matter? You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that. Who are you talking to? It's Jake from Brit Farm. That sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from Brit Farm at 2 in the morning. Who is this?
It's Jake from Brit Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from Brit Farm?
Overalls.
She sounds hideous.
You know, she's a Brit, so.
Has this ever happened to you?
Do you have a problem with Hussar raids raiding your base and killing all of your settlers? Hussar raids are a very common and a very serious illness among Age of Empires players. And if you suffer from this, then you may need to talk to your doctor about Greater Coats to see if it's right for you. Greater Coats is a new, scientifically proven Age 4 card that increases settler attack and hit points by a ludicrous amount. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please talk to your doctor to see if Greatcoats is right for you. Greatcoats does not make your villagers indestructible. If they still die, it is entirely your fault. Please do not contact us or our company for any situations you may have, any problems or interactions you may or may not have with Greatcoats. Once you shipment, the sale is final, and you cannot redeem your shipment for another shipment unless you cancel before it arrives. Talk to your doctor today to see if Greatcoats is right for you.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Our break is over, and the fight is still very much so underway. War does take a long time, as they say. It looks like there's...
I don't think you've missed a single thing.
Absolutely not. Oh, we have an inspiring flag! The veteran regulars have 41 attack under the flag. That is absolutely insane! Have you ever seen Age 3 Musketeers have 41 attack in your life?
You know... The inspiring flag is just an incredible feature. The USA, the damage output that these regulars have, that the training that they put in week after week is just so incredible. There's absolutely nothing that the Chinese team can do about how good these players are. As some raids coming in...
Oh, we got raids! We got raids! They're going down! The villagers are trying to get away! Will they get away? That's 3 down! That's 3 down! Will it be 4? Will it be... It's 4! We got 4! Will it be 5, though? Will it be... No, not 5. Not 5. Very close. He got a couple shots.
One almost got down to half health. These villagers sneaking into their village where they belong. Very sneaky play from the China player to go back to his home. We'll see.
But now these 5 regulars, have been caught far away from the rest of the army. Oh, we got Hussar. We got Hussar. The USA player has made a stable and is training Hussar. Another thing you don't often see from USA players is they just underestimate their cavalry. But look at this. He has no anti-cav. He has no anti-cav. These 5 Hussar are just making their way on this military here.
I just don't believe it. The Hussar are just going to slaughter all these Chukanu. You know, we've got a tower here that's sieging down these Hussar, but it's just not going to be enough. These Chukanu are going to have to retreat. Oh my goodness, this is just incredible from the United States player. The Hussar leading the charge. The Hussar going to the hand mortars. The hand mortars are being defended. Will the Hussar get to the hand mortars? I'm just not sure. This is a huge engagement. Buffalo Mike, I don't believe it. The regulars are in. The Hussars are in. Hussars still out on the field, sneaking around, trying to get to the hand mortar. I don't think they're going to get to it. They might. Let's see. Those regulars destroying all the Chukanu, which is not normally how this goes, but I think the Hussar being on the field is just an incredible play. The pikemen, is that pikes? Those are pikes, I believe.
They are irregulars. He sent irregulars and sentries.
Irregulars and sentries coming out. It's just not going to be enough, I don't
just
think.
the irregulars, not the sentries. Oh, and down goes the military. Absolutely. This is Corbin Harbor's game. As you can see, the China player is completely food-starved. He has tried to make a mill. He has a couple villagers up here by a hunt, but his only safe hunt is down here.
Coin.
They are by the hunt though, and they might switch to food later if he needs it. But he is very food starved. He has these villagers down here not gathering like they should. He is
29 idle villagers. 29 idle villagers, 7 on wood, and those 2 up in the north gathering coin. This fight is not looking good, although the mass still exists for the China player trying to take these off. Oh no, the raids were almost
almost perfect, but unfortunately, 'tis not to be. These raids got stuck on the side here, and they were just waiting their coach's order. But what's their coach doing? The reason they're not moving is because their coach is busy throwing torches at the Summer Palace. And it looks like China's not going to do anything about it. The coach is just on the field, slowly taking down the Summer Palace while a much bigger engagement goes on here.
Takes the Summer Palace down. That could be the greatest thing greatest achievement in the entirety of sports. Someone who's retired from the game has resorted not resorted, who has gone to coaching some great teams, by the way, but still coaching and not playing, single-handedly taking down a giant building with nothing but some Molotov cocktails is a sight to behold.
Absolutely. And he's still going at it, and he doesn't show any signs of stopping. We see these Hussar. There's we have 8 villagers trapped in this village. The Hussar are trying to siege it down. Corbin Harbor is trying to move his military down to get it, but these Chukunu have something to say about it. Yes, they do. The Chukunu are backing off, it looks like, trying to do some hit and runs.
Those cries for help from the 8 villagers in that village are just absolutely pitiful.
Oh, and they abandoned ship.
You can just hear the crowd is going wild. They smell blood in the water. These villagers are not long for this game.
Absolutely. If I'm not mistaken, they just started chanting Seven Nation Army, a very classic Fire Emblem chant. I don't think I've ever seen a Fire Emblem game where the crowd doesn't at some point chant Seven Nation Army.
Absolutely not. You know, like we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, these fans are just so enthusiastic.
We have a micro mistake over on the China player. He just gave up 2 villagers, and now we have a whole bunch of wood gatherers right next to the Hussar. They're disappearing into the village.
More pitiful cries from help. I am sorry, villagers. There is no one coming to rescue at this point. The army for the Chinese team is just too small, and the force from the USA team is just overwhelming at this point. I think all the Springfield Armory upgrades have come in, all the important ones anyways, so this game is not going to last much longer. I can smell it myself.
The very last infantry the very last infantry upgrade is coming in for USA, and then it's going to switch over to the cavalry upgrades. We see the Minutemen once again picking down that flamethrower right away as the very first priority. Raspberry von Rubenstreifer has trained them well, even if he is not directly impacting them, as he is still sieging that Summer Palace by himself.
It just speaks to the confidence of Raspberry von Rubenstreifer in his team to just completely abandon them and let them do their own thing while he tries to achieve the unachievable, sieging down an entire palace with just a handful of Molotov cocktails. I'm surprised he has as much glassware as he does to siege this down. A lot of glassware, my friend.
You do have to wonder why this astronaut is currently using a torch instead of his laser beam gun or lightsaber to siege down the Summer Palace. I feel like either of those would be much better options.
You know, like I said, Raspberry von Rubenstreifer is a strategic genius, and this is just probably one of his ways to demoralize his enemies even more than they already are demoralized.
We see that Corbin Harbor has left his Hussar in the enemy's base to try to take on these pikemen, which might have been a smart decision, except that we just received a 14 pikeman shipment from the China player to get in, so that is a Hussar that is dead. A very unfortunate mistake, as if that shipment had not come in, that one Hussar might have done a very large amount of damage.
You know, it's just an unnecessary risk taken by Raspberry von Rubenstreifer. Look, I know he has the economic advantage. He's got 6,000 more score.
Holy crap, we see 4 flamethrowers being queued up. 4 flamethrowers being queued up here. That is a lot of flamethrowers.
Tail tucked between their legs, Team USA has to go and try and siege this village. USA will
we have raids going up here.
Oh my goodness, what is this? This is another Hussar raid. Oh, the battle is being brought to the north side. That is an unexpected turn of events, Buffalo Mike.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do not think that at any point our China player, Mr. Mayor over here, was at any point planning on seeing more than 5 Hussar from a USA player. Oh, it looks like the coach Raspberry von Rubenstreifer has left the Summer Palace duty to a single regular instead. This is him finally realizing that he still needs 1 person to throw Molotovs, but you know. Oh, no, he needs 5 people throwing Molotovs, but he has more important things to do. More specifically, standing in this one location and standing by in case he needs to place the inspiring flag.
Buffalo Mike, there's only so much that one washed-up coach can do.
Absolutely.
You know, his throwing arm's got to be absolutely exhausted. I know he trains well with his players day in and day out, but at some point, old age sets in, and you can't do it all yourself. I know he really wanted to siege that Summer Palace down himself, but it wasn't in the cards for him today.
Absolutely.
Maybe
we have a big engagement
next week.
We have a big engagement coming in here. The Hussar are in. They are in while the regulars try to finish sieging down the palace. Those flamethrowers doing a lot of damage. Unfortunately, the Hussars have gone right into the pikemen, but they are veterans, so they are tanky enough to stand there for a while. Now, we are going to see in a hot second, we're probably going to see, yes, look at that, the Minutemen targeting down those flamethrowers one by one, taking advantage of their multiplier. Absolutely one-shotting them, which is an incredible feat considering they have 65% range resistance.
And look at all the fire all the fire coming from those flamethrowers, literally doing nothing to the USA team. The Springfield Armory upgrades are just too much, and all the investment in the space age heat shielding by Raspberry von Rubenstreifer, his time spent at NASA is turning out invaluable right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We see him sieging down this castle. Does not have any villagers inside it. It does not appear. Oh, wait, no. If we switch over, it has 5 villagers inside it. He's training these 2 flamethrowers. Those are not going to come out in time. Not in a long shot.
Oh, and more innocent civilians being slaughtered. Just absolutely brutal from the USA player. Raspberry von Rubenstreifer has told his team to show no mercy.
And the
no
game
mercy
has been called! Absolutely.
Is over.
What a beautiful game. We saw a lot of really great moments in here. Von Rubenstreifer trying to solo the Summer Palace by himself and doing a good job of it, taking down almost 40% of its HP bar. We saw lots of raids happen. We saw... What were some of your favorite moments of the game?
The fact... this is going to be a very controversial opinion, Buffalo Mike, but the fact that the Chinese team did so well with their coach dead and on the complete other side of the continent really speaks volumes to how well coached this Chinese team was. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. Speaking on the
they did
USA
hold out very
side,
valiantly, just given their disadvantage.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking on the USA side, I absolutely loved the switch up to the north side raids, where all the action was taking place on the south side, and those raids up to the north by that coin mine, I think they only got 2 or 3 villagers, slaughtered some innocent civilians, but that really spoke, I think, to a realization in the USA team that this game had been won. You can see how greedy the USA player did with all those hunts that he's gathering. It just this was a master class of execution by the USA team and their excellent coach, Raspberry von Rubenstreifer.
This is a very greedy raid a very greedy hunt that he was claiming up here. I don't know if he would be able to get away with that without this town center and blockhouse nearby, but this hunt is right outside the China player's base, and that is not something that you see people going for very often.
Absolutely not. Again, absolute masterclass. This is something the likes we may never see again. Hey, let's go down to our sideline reporter, Michelle Fatoya. Michelle, who do you have with you today?
Well, guys, I'm here with a regular on the battlefield. He is absolutely exhausted. Tell me how you're feeling right now.
Oh my God, man! Oh! I just ran like a country mile and threw one torch and the game ended.
Now, you were part of the last siege. Describe to me the emotions that are going on through your head as you're throwing this last torch before the white flags are raised.
Well, it was a very hard-fought game. I unfortunately didn't get to do very much of the hard fighting, but I did a lot of the hard training going up to it, and I have to say I don't think anybody here could have done this without the help of everybody else here. We are an absolute team, and we've trained together. We've trained together for years to get to this point, and I could not be prouder of the results of this game.
Well, I'm gonna let you go celebrate with your team. Guys in the booth, yes. Back up to you.
Thank you, Michelle Tafoya. Again, absolute masterclass. The training that these guys do is absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. And I think that's going to do it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad you joined us. I hope you join us next week for some more epic Age of Empires action. I've been Buffalo Mike.
And I'm Og here the Holy.
Thank you
and
very
we will
much
see you guys
for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This was, as ever, a ton of fun to make. If you enjoyed the video, please do consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out. And have a great day.